For this practice, we're going to use a battery, 9 volts, with its clip, so it will be easier to plug. We're going to use the breadboard. We are going to power a motor, so we're going to use this one. This one has 2 jumpers attached, so it will be easier to plug into the breadboard. Also, we're going to use a couple jumpers, male, and we're going to use 4 of this, 4 push buttons. Okay, for this one, I'm going to start drawing the flow of electrons in the blue cables. This circuit will make the motor rotate in different directions by closing determined switches. So we have 4 switches, we have here the battery, and we have here in the middle, we have the motor. So in blue, I'm going to start by drawing what happened if I close these 2 switches. So I will basically let the electrons flow, and the electrons will go into the motor following this direction, and they will go out of the motor following this direction. So if this is closed, they will go back to the positive side of the battery and the circuit will be completed. This is one way to make the motor rotate. If I follow the flow of electrons in the red cable, all the electrons will move here. They will, let's say, jump this cable. If these 2 switches are closed, the electrons will go into the motor following this direction. Because of that, the motor will rotate in the opposite direction. They will go out here, this switch will be closed, and they will follow all the cable here until they reach the positive side of the battery. That means that if we put, for example, a piece of wood or plastic on top of these 2 buttons, and someone step on that piece of plastic or wood, I will make the motor rotate in one direction. But if we do the same, we put a piece of plastic or wood on top of these 2 buttons, when they step on these 2 buttons and they activate the circuit, the motor will spin in the opposite direction. Okay, here we have the circuit. Take a look to the schematics and to the breadboard, how the connections were made. Red cable is positive, black cable is negative, or GND. They are connected to the switches, and as I explained previously, if I put something here like a balsa stick or something in the middle and something just is on that, it will activate these 2 switches, and the same thing will happen here. The idea is to be able to change the rotation of the motor. So I'm going to plug the battery, and when I activate these 2, the motor will spin in one direction. But when I activate these other 2, the motor will spin in the opposite direction. If I try to press one button at a time, nothing will happen because the circuit cannot be completed that way. And if I try to press, for example, these 2 that are opposite, nothing will happen because the electrons cannot complete the circuit. So it will only work when I step on these 2 at the same time or these 2 at the same time.